Hello and welcome to Hybrid, powered by chinkseyMEDIA. Back again for another Mikel Arteta's pre-Bayern Munich presser. Mikel Arteta was back in front of the media for his pre-Bayern Munich press conference at the Sober Realty Training Centre today. The Arsenal manager was asked for his reflections on our North London derby win, how he's feeling ahead of Wednesday's return to Champions League football and more. On still feeling the energy from our 4-1 win over Tottenham. Yes, I do. And we have to make sure we carry that energy back to the stadium tomorrow, to each individual, and play with the same dominant aggression and efficiency against the top side. Okay, I think that statement's really telling, because that win against Tottenham was so emphatic that there's going to be a good energy around the squad. You don't want to drop momentum. I think momentum's key, especially in the title race that we're in. I think we've got tough games coming up, none tougher than Bayern Munich. So if we can get a win, if we can get a positive result, even a draw's half decent, then it stands us in good stead to take on Chelsea, who haven't beaten us in a few years. I think that's going to be a real tough game, Chelsea. But incidentally, they have their own tough game against Barcelona to negotiate. So we're both in a similar position, really. But yeah, that statement's really telling, because it makes me think that he's going to make minimal changes. He wants to keep momentum. He wants to keep a winning team. So probably don't be surprised to see 2 or 3 changes tomorrow. On if Martinelli and Madueke are in contention to start tomorrow, and who else could be involved. They are. And we're going to have a meeting now to decide on Martin Odegaard. He was very close for the previous game, so we are hopeful that tomorrow he is in the squad as well. Oh, okay, that's big. So, yeah, Madueke got some minutes. Martinelli was on the bench. It'll be interesting to see if they start, actually. And it'll be interesting to see if people like Timber and Saka get a rest, which gives Ben White and Madueke, Martinelli, an opportunity to start. On how Gyökeres and Havertz are progressing in their rehab. Really good, both of them. In the next few days, they're going to have a repeat scan to see how everything is and where we can push them for the weekend. Ooh, interesting. Havertz and the weekend in the same statement. But I don't think Havertz will be in the squad this week. That's them to be corrected. On how to approach this game, we have the same intention to win it. We've had a really good preparation again, a really short one, but we've been very efficient as well. We know the importance of the match. We are in a really strong position. We want to maintain that for sure, and we know that we have a beautiful and very demanding game ahead of us. You couldn't get a tougher game, to be fair. I've always rated Barcelona. I think Barcelona are strong contenders for the competition, but Bayern Munich have been, alongside us, the best team in Europe this season. So I think tomorrow's a vanity contest, really. If we lose, it's not terminal. We should still qualify anyway. But I just think if we want to puff our chest out and say, yeah, we are actually the best team in Europe, we want to win this competition this season, then we should win, especially because we're at home. On if he's looking forward to the challenge of facing Bayern Munich, for sure. This is the kind of game in the competition that we want to face, and we've been very consistent in both competitions. They have been as well. And tomorrow is a great test for us to see where we are. Well, it's a great test for them to see where they are as well. Vincent Kompany has obviously done a great job, won the title last season. People like Luis Diaz, Michael Arteta have come in and revamped and replenished the squad, which was aging. But luckily for us, Luis Diaz is out. But I think anyone they put out there on a wing, whether it's Serge Gnabry or whoever it is, I think Timber should be able to handle that person. But then again, he may not start. He may go for Ben White tomorrow. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on who he starts right back. On if Sunday's atmosphere was the best he's experienced at our stadium, it has to be one of the best for sure. And the atmosphere, the energy created as well, just before the game, I think it was excellent. And it makes such a difference. The players were talking about it. I hope our supporters realise what they bring, the joy, the confidence, the energy to the players. And we have to maintain and improve that constantly, because it's a massive superpower that we have. Yeah, I mean, the Ashburton Army have obviously added another dimension to the stadium. I think little things have gone a long way to kind of making the Emirates a fortress, making it an intimidating place to go, making it a horrible place for opponents, opposition. And I think tomorrow is going to be no different to how it was on Sunday and in games against PSG and Real Madrid in recent times. On all 4 goals against Spurs being from open play. For me, it's the same value. It doesn't change. Everything is part of the game, and in relation to the position we play, how we defend, and the options that we have to be very efficient in all departments. I'm upset that we didn't score on a set piece. I want to score on a set piece as well. I'm upset that we conceded a goal. So it's being at our best in everything that we do. That's the aim. Ever the perfectionist. Well, I'm sure Nicholas Jova is probably upset as well that we didn't score a set piece. He's probably on some kind of incentive bonus. On if this is the biggest challenge of the season so far. Well, every opponent brings different challenges. They are in a great moment. The level of consistency, they show it in resource, performance, in every metric that they have. It's very, very impressive. We know that, but it's a massive opportunity as well for us to show what we are capable of. Okay, so he danced around that question, not trying to antagonize Pep Guardiola or Arne Slot. But you have to say, given the form that they're in, it's a resounding yes. On if he always thought Vincent Kompany would make a good manager, my feeling was that Vinny was going to be excellent at whatever he chose to do, and I'm very happy that it went so well for him because he has such a presence, intelligence, love for the game, work rate, so I knew whatever he was going to touch, he was going to make it really good. So I'm not surprised at all. Okay, so essentially he didn't really think or know that he was going to become a manager, but he knew that Vincent Kompany's mentality meant that whatever he chose to do, he would have a good chance of doing well, which is fair. On the challenge of reintegrating injured players when the levels are so high, especially because they've been out for a long period of time, 6, 7, 8 weeks, and that's quite a long time. But to be fair, when I see them training today as well and how willing they are, all of them to play a part to start ideally in the camp, it's great. So they seem to be in a good place. We have to manage that because we have a very demanding week and opponents, but they will manage to bring it in, which is great to see, and the rest are great. You know, to be honest with you, I think Mikel is going to go probably 90 to 95% of the same team that was so impressive against Tottenham. You probably see a few changes, maybe in the fullback positions. Be interested to see if Ben White starts, because I think tomorrow he's the one that needs to start more than most, as does Awanieri. But I think Lewis Skelly will come in. I think Martinelli will come in. And it will be interesting to see if Ben White also comes in. On how to keep players calm who are eager to get back on the pitch. Well, we have to look at the individuals, obviously, and make sure that they are ready to start a game like this. And the second one as well is for how long they can play. We need to be very mindful about how many of those players we put on the pitch, because most of them might not be available to finish 90 minutes. So we need to be conscious about the subs that we need to use, how we're going to use it, the windows that we have, in order to be very efficient with our decision making throughout the game. And we'll plan in regards to that. So that makes me think that of the injured players, he probably will start 1 or 2 max. So you might see Martinelli start, and then obviously Odegaard probably come on for Martinelli, and then someone shuffles around, so someone changes position, something like that along those lines. So what I don't think we'll see is Madueke and Martinelli starting. But what I have an inkling, I've got a feeling Madueke will get on the pitch, because he's going to need to build up some match fitness ahead of a trip back to his former club on Sunday, in which I think he's going to play some kind of role. On having to decide between such high quality players like Eze and Odegaard, I do, because the priority is for the team to be as efficient as possible and to win football matches as a priority, number one. And they're going to have to deal with those situations. Players are going to have to merit to play, and the higher the standard each individual puts in, the higher the level of the team is going to be. So we're going to have to live with that in a really positive way because it's something extraordinary. Exactly. I think tomorrow Eze starts because the form he's in, the momentum he's in. You know, he's in a good moment. Obviously, he's taken his England form back into Arsenal in the Premier League. Scored a hat-trick. He's buzzing in the form of his life. So he needs to start tomorrow. I think Odegaard will be on the bench and he'll probably come on for Eze maybe. Or maybe come on for someone like a Martinelli who'll probably play for about an hour. That's my prediction. On if every position in this team should be competed for. It is and it has to be. I'm thankful that we have improved the depth of the squad and the quality compared to previous years as well, because it's going to be more needed than ever. Football this season compared to last season is already different. 3 seasons ago it was a different league, and I wanted to be conscious of that. The other teams and the other squads in the league are built in the same way. In what sense though? Because I don't think other squads come close to ours. I mean, Man City got a good squad, but it's just a bit patchy and blotchy, and I think they're lacking in certain positions. However, ours is the standards between the first choice and second choice is very close. Other teams can't really say that. On what Gabriel Heinze brings to the coaching staff, his experience, he's a winner, he's won in many clubs he's been at, he's had a very different education as well. We've known each other for 23 years. I'm very close to that. That brings something extra. That level of passion Gabriel shows in a way, but others show it in a different way. Molina or Nico or Iñaki and everybody that is around. It's great because at the end, what I'm really happy is that we complement each other really well, and everybody brings a different insight, a different character, a different personality to the table that makes us a much better team. It makes me a much better coach as well, which is the intention, to have the best resources to give to the players. Yeah, I think I mentioned a few podcasts ago that Heinze coming in has definitely made an impact in terms of Calafiori, who's come on leaps and bounds and been our most improved player this season. I've noticed he's taken a liking into Lewis Skelly, and he's even improved as well, although he hasn't had much game time to show it. But I do expect him to start tomorrow, and he'll have a tough task in trying to shackle Olise, but I believe he's capable of doing so. On when Gabriel Jesus could be part of the squad. Yeah, he's quite close, to be fair, and it's earlier than we expected. In the next few days, he's going to have another step to make with a game that we're going to organise for him. And after that, he's going to be knocking on the door because he's Gabriel, a winner, and that's how it's happened. Okay, he did mention this behind closed door friendly last week, so obviously, clearly, it's probably going to be on Thursday, Friday or Saturday. So, which puts him out of contention for Chelsea. And I don't think he'll be in contention for Brentford, but after that, should be interested. Hopefully, he can get a couple games ahead of the League Cup's quarter-final against Crystal Palace, which I hope he can start in, because in the last year's one, I'm pretty sure he got a hat-trick or at least a brace. On how Hincapie performed on his debut in place of Gabriel. Yeah, well, big credit to Piero, because that's a massive challenge to have your Premier League debut starting against your biggest rivals in a really special day against top players up front. To replace Gabi, it's not easy at all. He did it in a really convincing way. That's his personality. As I said before, he's a warrior. He's someone that faces any challenge, and he certainly did that on Sunday. Yeah, he played really well. I mean, I was a bit pleasantly surprised, that he was the one to take over Gabriel. I thought Mosquera was going to play and Saliba go to left centre-back, but either one would have been a more than able and apt replacement for Gabriel. It'll be interesting to see if he starts tomorrow. To be honest, I do expect him to start tomorrow. I think the team that will start will be Raya, Timber, Saliba, Hincapie, Lewis Skelly, Zubimendi, Rice, Eze, Saka, Marino, Martinelli. So I think 2 or 3 changes really to the team that started on Sunday. On if we are one of the elite European teams or if we need to beat a team like Bayern to become one, I don't know. If you talk about performances and consistency, hopefully, yes. But to consider that in terms of the trophies at that level, I mean, we have never won the Champions League in our history. And Bayern Munich won 6. We are nothing compared to Real Madrid. They're in a different universe, so we're going to get there. Yeah, it was almost a trick question to get a headline out of Arteta, because how do you quantify being an elite team? Because people will always hit us with a stick saying we haven't won it, but we are an elite team. But are you only an elite team if you win Champions League? Because on that premise, no. But we are an elite team in every other metric. On how much beating Bayern would give us the belief that we can challenge on all fronts. Yeah, we had the same question before Sunday, and great, we won it. Then we go, and then you finish the game and they won it. It's Bayern Munich, and we're going to try to beat them for sure. And then it's going to be Chelsea, and this is how ruthless at the moment the schedule is. It's demanding, but at the same time, how privileged we are to be involved in 3 incredible games in 6 days. Yeah. And you know what? I fancy us. If Arteta puts out the right team, a strong team, I fancy us to win 2-1 tomorrow and inflict Bayern Munich's first defeat of the season.